Hello there. In this video I'm going to show you how you can make this personalised heart pendant. Here I've put Harrington Font letter A on it, but we can put anything that we want. And we're going to do this in Fluid Designer for 3D printing. I'm going to use a connector just to act as a guide for the chain that you can put on the pendant. I'm going to use a Harrington Font, so I'm going to append letter A from Harrington Font, so this letter here, and I'm also going to use the hearts patterns. So there are a number of different hearts patterns that I can use. I'm just going to append all of these from this heart library, and I'm going to start off with heart 016. This is actually created using a parametric equation. So it is a smart object, as all of these are, and it's 1mm by 2mm is the size of the cross section at the moment, so 1mm across, 2mm deep, and the whole thing is about 30 centimeters across. Okay, so if I just go to view and top view, so the first thing I'm going to do is to go to file and append, and I'm going to append one of the other objects. I'm going to append heart 01, so you just select it, append from the library. So it's that object there. So if I press, I'll just switch on screencast keys. So if I press S on the keyboard and just scale it down in size. Remember, you must always do Control A and apply the scale, and as you do that, the thickness will change in Fluid Designer. And I just need to position this somewhere so that it's touching the sides and that it overlaps as well. Perhaps I'll, well, let me just move that panel back a bit there. Perhaps I'll just scale it up a little bit again. Do Control A and apply the scale whenever you do that. Now this object is not overlapping here, the internal heart isn't, but I'm going to put a letter A on the top, which will probably make it overlap. So now I'll just add the next object, so I'm going to add 003, this one. So if I go to File and Append, just go up through the menu system until you're in the Hearts Patterns folder. So I'm going to do 003, just append that from the library. And again, just scale it down to a suitable size. Always remember to do Control A and apply the scale. And then I'm just going to position it there so it overlaps at the bottom. I'm going to append another one. 012 object I'm going to do now. And again, just scale it down to a suitable sort of size, Control A and apply the scale, and I'm just going to position that one up here. I might scale it up a little bit again, Control A and apply the scale. Yeah, so it's overlapping, and it's overlapping there. And then File, and let me just double check what that one was. That was 03, so I want 015 now, so File and Append, and you can choose whichever ones of these that you want, just to make up your own unique design. And so just scale that down to fit, do Control A and apply the scale. Now there, that inner heart there is now overlapping this one, so I don't need to worry about it falling out. I now need a couple more, so just append. I'm going to do 013, and you can decide which ones you're going to use by looking in the panel over here. So I'm going to use that one, and again I'm going to scale it down a bit. Do Control A and apply the scale, and just view from the top. Now where you position these is entirely up to you. I'm just going to rotate this a little bit. Just going to rotate it there. Just move it up a bit and in so it's overlapping. And I'm just going to make a duplicate of this and put it at the other side. Duplicate it and rotate it around. And just position it until it overlaps. I think I might just make that one scale it down a bit and do Control A and apply the scale. And again, make sure it's overlapping. Now I need a connector at the top, so File and Append. Now here we need to go up through the menu system until we get to the Groups folder. We want a connector. I'll do 2.5mm diameter hole and append that from the library. And whoops, I just need to select it, and just need to move that up there. And if I go into edit mode and select the control point at the bottom, I can just move it until it's in the middle there. That's okay. Now what I want to do is I want to make that the same thickness as the heart on the outside. So if I just hold down the Shift key and go to Tools, Object Tools, and join that to the heart on the outside, you can see that it applies the thickness to that. Now I'm just going to personalize this object by adding the letter A, Harrington Font A, that I showed you. So we just go up through the menu system until we get to the Groups folder. You can add any letter of the alphabet that you want, anything that's on your system. So I'm going to use Harrington Font A, pen that from the library, and just need to make sure it's selected. And I'm just going to pull it up 1mm. This is a parametric smart object like all the others. It's 1 by 2mm, so I've just pulled it up 1mm, so we've got 1mm protruding, and it's overlapping everything else. Now where you want to position that is entirely up to you. You could scale it down if you want, reposition it wherever you want. I'm going to leave it like that. So now what we want to do is to just join all the objects together. So I'll highlight that one at the bottom, and if I hold down the Shift key, highlight that heart, highlight that heart, highlight that one, highlight that, highlight the one underneath, and highlight the letter A, and just go to Tools, Object Tools, join them all together. So all the center ones are joined together, and if I just hold down Shift and highlight the heart on the outside, I can join that all. So all those are now one object. Now I do know from doing this that the face size is just slightly over 1 million for this. You can see it's 519,000 up there, but I need to run this through NetFab, so that's just a little bit too large at the moment. So you can sort that out by just going to Tools, Object Tools, convert that to a mesh, and if you just do a decimate modifier, and if we just take that down to say 0.9, that will reduce the face count below 500,000 here. And then once we run that through NetFab, NetFab will triangulate it, and we'll still be below 1 million, which is what you need at Shapeways. So it just depends where you're doing this. It hasn't quite gone below the 500,000 there. So sort of let me change that to 0.85. That's the only thing you need to be aware of, but it does depend upon where you're going to actually 3D print it. So you'd have to apply this decimate modifier just by going to Tools, Object Tools, and converting it to a mesh. Okay, so yeah, we're below 500,000 there. So Tools, Object Tools, convert that to a mesh. That will just apply the modifier and keep our face count just below the 500,000 there. And then what you do is just export that. I use Wavefront, save it to the desktop. I saved it earlier with the name Personalised Heart Pendant. And as I say, you've just got to run it through NetFab. You've always got to run these through NetFab, and then you'll have your personalised 3D printable heart pendant to whatever design you want. You can add any number of, let me just cancel that, any number of the hearts that are available over here, and create your own personalised pattern. So any of these heart patterns you can use and just mix and match them. Okay, so that's it for this video. Good luck in creating your own.